Welcome here, everyone. This video is going to be different with all of the fires that are going on in North America right now, especially in the western part. I am going on a trip here. I'm actually leaving tomorrow to go on this trip to visit some family in Washington State, where there's a lot of the state that is under a lot of smoke and fire. This is going to be a different kind of video for me. I'm going to go hands-on through this bag piece by piece to show you what I am going to take on this road trip. We are traveling about 600 miles through the mountains and through the forests that are actually burning. Now, some of the roads are closed, so we're gonna have to take a couple detours and it's gonna take a little bit longer. But I'm gonna show you how we're dealing with that. And close to the end of the video, I'm gonna show you a couple items that you may or may not want to take depending on your situation, depending on what you think they will do for you. This pack is just a simple Eddie Bauer pack. And I'll start at the back compartments, and we simply have a couple trash bags in there. So these trash bags are the big drum liner size. They can be used for shelters. They can be used for carrying things. A lot of different uses for that. Getting right into here, I've got a little bit of an organizer with a light and some other items in here, right? Just small things, a little bit of cash, and just in case. And I've got, well, a lighter of all things going along, but you always have a lighter. You always have a little bit of lip stuff, not only for your lips, but also for protection against the elements if it comes down to that. I've got some lighting. This is just a simple Duracell headlamp that I have in here, and we'll talk about batteries in a little minute, but that is what we have in that pack, in that pocket. So coming into this, we really get into some functionality, and we'll talk about that. So I've got 3 people going with me. So I've got 3 N95 masks for them in here. Now I've got one that I always keep with myself. Now, it's not like these are gonna do everything, but if you are in smoke and you need that little bit of extra protection, an N95 mask in the smoke will help. I've got a big chopping knife. Just a simple chopping knife. If I need to do some real business out there with a knife, I've got that. The other thing I always have with me is just a very, very simple battery pack and a way to plug it into your phone. Always remember the cord. Here's the other mask. So there's 4 people going. I've got 4 masks. And again, you can take more if you think it's necessary, but that's what I have in here. I've just got my basic Mylar blanket. And here, for a little bit of redundancy, I've got a multi-tool Swiss Army knife type. Nothing special. And let's see. Okay. In here, I've got a bottle holder. So that comes important a little bit later with the bottle as well. So digging into here, I've also got a membrane solution personal water filter. Now this guy you can use to drink straight out of a stream. You can use this with a bottle. You can screw that on and just go from there. I use this quite a bit. Further in here, I do have some gloves. Now these are always in here. I've got these just simple rubberized gloves. They just protect your hands a little bit. They can keep them warm a little bit. They can help you with some basic tasks, but they are lightweight and will get cut up if you're gonna do serious use. So I always have a pair of just regular leather gloves, and you can see these have been used and used quite a bit. But I love these gloves because they're still good enough to work with. They're tight enough on your fingers, but they hold up and they handle it really well. So I think these are from Costco. So that's the gloves. A little package that I keep with me is some string and some zip ties are in here. And then I also have a small roll of duct tape and electrical tape. So these are all your do all fix it, I would call this. It's just, you know, you need to fix something, you need to tie it up, you need to make it good to go again for another couple miles. This is just my basic fix it kit that I have in here. I also keep in here an emergency bivvy. So this is the smallest, most compact one, but if it's just me by myself and I just need a really simple shelter, this is what I would reach for. This is the most compact way to give yourself an edge in a survival situation. A little bit more things from the pack. We just got some wet wipes for obvious reasons. You just need a little bit of cleaning up. That's what you use that for. Okay, I think we're to the bottom of that one. We're to the, oh, there's just a few more things in here. Oh, so some quick clot. This is always good to have a little bit of extra quick clot on top of my trauma kit that I have. Whenever you're going on a long trip, especially a car trip, car accidents are one of the most prolific things that cause massive bleeding. This is the kind of stuff that you want to have on a trip like that. Getting further in, now this is interesting. I've got some potassium iodide tablets for the off chance that there is some sort of radiation event and I get exposed to that. So that's in there. And of course, there's enough for everyone in the family to have their minimal dosage. What do you think about that? Is that a good option to have with you at all times? I keep it in my vehicle kit. Digging down even further, it is summer, but I always keep a few hand warmers in the bottom of my pouch because even in the summer with these wildfires, you can have the smoke so heavy at night that it really cools things off. So just having that extra bit of warmth makes a big difference. All right, before we get into the main pack, I want to show you just a couple of communications options. Now I have two of these, and these are just push to talk radios. You also want to make sure that this is fully charged, and it is. So we also want to have a partner. So these two need to be set to the same frequency so that if you get separated, say these work about 5 miles or so, if you need to keep in communication and cell phones are down, this is an excellent way just for that short range communication. So radios are great. Another type of communication device without cell phones is just a simple, basically this is the dual band FM transceiver by Wildfire, and you can listen in or use it, but you can listen in to communication and emergency communication. There is websites, you can go on ChatGPT to find frequencies for the areas that you're going to be going through, and you can tune this to those frequencies and you can listen in to some of the emergency instructions or emergency happenings that are going on around you. Also, if you carry another one, you can obviously communicate with it just in a similar way that you would with these. So digging in to the rest of this pack, I've got something very interesting. This is a portable multifunctional emergency device. It is a hand crank generator. So you can actually hand crank that and charge something. Mobile phone charger, it does have a battery pack, just like I showed you there. So now I have two. It is an emergency light, which is really cool. So you turn on this and then you've got your lighting. It also has an ignition source, and this is really, it makes it cool. I'll turn the lights off. Oh, it's got a strobe function there, and then you can turn it off. Now the ignition is right up here, and that's a really cool function. So yes, we're going into wildfire, so this would be for an emergency heating or something like that. You just need to start a fire because you are freezing to death, but you can press this button and see that glows red hot, and you can start some tinder with that. Cool thing about this is you can see these wires. Actually, this lanyard is the antenna for the shortwave and the FM radio. On this side, you can see it's switched to FM, and then you've got shortwave 1, shortwave 2. So you can actually turn this on and you can get radio, which is pretty neat. As you scan for stations, you will need to employ this antenna. We will find something here.
Hours on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week as well.
There you go. But again, a very cool little piece of kit, very compact, gives you radio, gives you a way of listening to things. Gives you a way to not only light, but charge your phone, charge other things. If you've got your USB charging cord, you can charge your phone off of this. You can also charge it when you're at home with a regular C-type USB. I'm just going to demonstrate charging the battery with the hand crank, and that light comes on to indicate that you are charging that. So let's look further. In here, I've got my little cup kit, stove kit, and the lid is just make sure it is held on there with a rubber band. So I've got multiple things in here, but you can see I've even got my little steel baking sheet in there. I've got a little pot scrubber, and then of course I've got my stove with lighter, with electrolytes, and some hot drinks, and of course water tablets to purify that water even further. Depending, you don't know what kind of water you're going to run into, so always be prepared for that. That's why I have redundancy between the water tablets and also the water straw filter. I do not want to be wondering about water. I've done that once in my life, and I don't ever want to do that again. How about you? Have you ever run out of water and any clean water sources? It is a bad feeling. Let me know in the comments. So that's that kit. More water kit. Now, some of you guys know this is a Silcock key, and this is for opening up municipal water taps. So you can see in here, it's got different sizes that you can go up to, even something that the handle's been taken off, turn that on and get some water. And usually municipal water sources are safe to drink. So that is a good thing. That's an easy water. That's easier than going to a stream, easier going to any sort of lake. And I also have in here just regular coffee filters. Those can act as a pre-filter if you want to filter your water before you even use it in your straw. I also have a good amount, probably about 100 different water tabs, which would give you a lot of water, about 50 quarts or so, or 50 Nalgene bottles if you like to measure it in Nalgenes. So that's more water kit. Digging in here, I've got a little MRE kit, and because I mostly eat low carb, this has low carb options. So we've got some tuna in some oil. We've got some tuna salad that is low carb, and of course some coffee without sugar in there. I do carry some sesame snaps because those are for other people. And then for myself, just some beef sticks in here, and a low carb energy bar, and then another additional protein bar. So lots of protein and energy in here. And oh, there's even some bone broth at the bottom just to get those vitamins and minerals and everything in you as you go. So that's just a little bit of food. It's not much, but that would keep you going in an emergency if you needed to. Then I've got my water bottle that is inside of this wool sock. Now, I like this water bottle because it is a single wall, large stainless bottle, and it's great because you can purify water over a fire this way, and I'll just grab that bottle holder. Now, this is really cool because you can, and I keep this about half full to 3/4 full. This, what you do is you spring it loose, and then you lock this in underneath the edges, and you can hang this over a fire, obviously with the sock off, and you hang this over a fire, put a stick through it from the side, put the rock on that stick, and you have a way of really heating up that water very easily. So that's my go-to because it carries quite a bit. In the winter, you can fill this right full with snow, and then you'll get about this much water over the fire, but it works, right? You need that volume for that kind of thing. So that is all I'll say about the water, but I like having a decent amount of water, like even half full. This is a quart of water, a Nalgene full. And you can fill this if you want. I always keep it half full because here in the winter, it freezes solid, and I've never had a problem with it doing anything to the bottle if it's only half full, because then it can freeze and go up and down in here and we're not causing a trouble. So let's put this back let's put this down, go to its other sock pair. And inside here, there's just another water bottle that I've actually drained a little bit of the water out of so it doesn't pressurize up when I change elevations or have any problems like that. It doesn't blow up if it freezes. So I always leave that about 80% full, and that seems to work really well. In here on top of my my little gas stove, I've got this little sterno burner, and this is called Magic Heat. And of course it's got the little pot supports. Whoops, got to put this one on first, and then that one. And you are going to be able to light that up. Even inside a vehicle, you can light that up without any danger, just because it's that alcohol gel. And of course, I like to crack a window just a little bit, of course, no matter what stove I'm using. But putting even this, you can see that's a very good match, and it just sits there and you can cook anything up. Whether it's winter or summer, you can always make something warm for yourself. So that's my stove, extra stove, I should say. And then just at the bottom of the pack, I've got extra socks and underwear, and these are a wool blend that are really great at just keeping your feet warm, comfortable, and dry. That's important in both cold and hot weather. And then I've got some long underwear bottoms and a long underwear top, because again, winters can be very chilly, and even in the summer when you're, like I said, under that smoke or just a cold night in the mountains, you always want an extra layer to throw on. Just another little thing, I attach a carabiner on here because you never know if you want to hang something off, like your water bottle or something. You can do that. And of course you could do more. You can always do more, but this is lightweight and it goes a long ways in being prepared on the road. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I want to talk about a couple other emergency supplies really quick, and one being this one. And this is a large water fire extinguisher. Now this goes on top of your smaller chemical fire extinguisher that you would normally carry in your vehicle. At least I hope you do. And because those things are great for putting out engine fires, different things with when you have liquids and flammable, basically anything automotive. Now, why would I carry a big water thing like this? Well, we are going 600 miles through forest fire country, and obviously I'm not putting out any sort of large fire, but this gives you the option to hose down the area around you if it came to that. You could also hose down someone. This is a way to do that. You have about a minute of pressurized water that you can actually employ and use and create even maybe a small safe area for you and your vehicle and family. So this goes a long ways. I've put out a lot of grass fires with this, but it has limited use, but I like to take it on a trip like this. What do you think? Is this a good idea or not? Another thing that we've heard is there may not be gasoline in some of these places. I'm taking a self-contained box of the fluids that our vehicle needs. So I am taking a small can of gasoline. I am taking some power steering fluid and some brake fluid and some oil and some transmission fluid and all those things, because I don't think that we would need it, but in the event that we do, I want to have that. I also have something to repair the tires. I also have a battery operated pump so that I can fill up a tire if I needed to. So those are some of the things that I keep in the vehicle already. And of course, booster cables, those are in there. But making sure that you are squared away, at least something, allows you to take care of yourself, but it also allows you to aid someone else in that circumstance because you are prepared. So that's something that's a big deal to me, and I think it is with a lot of you. Let me know what you think about this and what you would possibly do different in your area, or what I should be doing different in my area. Even though it's not perfect, if this makes sense, Give this video a like and share it with someone that you care about. That's the way we get this message out. This is the way that we save lives. It's people taking action to get things done and take care of these kind of things in their own home and their own lives. Also, let me know if you would like to see more videos like this in the future. I like to do it straightforward. I like to do it as we actually do it. This isn't something that I've made up. This is something that is always on duty and always ready to go. It just lives here.